Good morning, folks. It is Wednesday morning, the last day of January, the 31st of January. Starting off a little earlier than normal today. It's 7:03 because we have really important economic data coming up here soon. That is the ADP, national employment. So we're looking at employment numbers. This is I know a lot of prop shops and other traders and institutions. They will not let people trade during this time. They'll have to remain flat. Just kind of like yesterday's State of the Union stuff was going on. You have to stay flat over that. So that is what we're looking at going into our morning. No suit today. Wednesday's my casual day. But, so things we really got to look out for is how the dollar moves and how the metals will move off of this as well. I really want us to look at how things move and adjust prior to this kind of news and then what happens during the news. And for folks who are new to trading or they don't understand how this kind of news release works, we're really going to get a good idea of the wildness that we're going to see in price movement. All right, but just kind of looking over what we've got going on. We did not put really any trades in yesterday. That the State of the Union address means that we're going to have a lot of uncertainty as far as where things are going to move, according to what the president's future plan is, especially in regards to the infrastructure spending. So it's difficult to determine how markets are going to respond to that. We also have and I'll now this unemployment data, employment data. I want to take a look at what markets did over the day and what we did overnight. So gold yesterday, when we were looking at it, we were expecting it to kind of ping pong and trade within this area. Maybe a little bit it did. We're still kind of sitting outside here, just kind of sitting flat. And not a lot of participation in gold. We are past this angle. We're below this one. Again, we're gonna have a good idea of. Add a little something in my teeth there. We're gonna have a little activity, possibly, hopefully, around here. Maybe be able to get into some trades in about 9 minutes here. The euro overnight, really from 2 in the morning yesterday all the way to now, we've just had a melt up here. Not a very strong move or a very weak move, just kind of a humdrum of a move here. The dollar has proved pretty resilient at this level. If we remember the Dow theory and the three primary market trends and the three moves that are within those trends, you have your accumulation phase, your public participation, and your distribution phase. Distribution being a bear market, and we've been in a downtrend for a while. In fact, I was just reading a news article where it said that the dollar is performing the worst that it's performed since 1982. And so to me, that means we better be ready to buy this thing soon. Because when the low prices that we've been experiencing and trading for over the last year in the dollar, then that means that we probably have some bias for some upward momentum. I kind of compare that to what happened with cryptocurrencies back in October, November, and December. I've been in a lot of those currencies for a while. And then when I went to the grocery store and the gal at the checkout, I live in a small town, so everybody knows each other. But she said, say, John, what do you know about all these cryptocurrencies and Cardano? My brother was talking to me about Cardano. I'm like, so she didn't even ask me about Bitcoin. Asked me about Cardano. And that's not like a well-known coin outside of people who trade. I knew that was probably at the getting towards the high there. And so that public participation was obviously in. The same with when you start to hear things in the news about how down the dollar is, how it's been performing, then sometimes that's a good early signal to say, hey, things may be turning around here soon. And we have been basing fairly nicely here. We haven't been making any newer lows since the 26th, but we haven't been making any new highs either. We're just kind of getting into a consolidative period, and again, that could be an accumulation phase. And again, accumulation phases, they happen near the end of downtrends. It's just hard to spot when that distribution phase ends, because a lot of times, like right here, a lot of times our consolidation areas can just be pauses until the next move down. All right. So I know that we had a long above 109. And I think that that's still something we can look at here as we're moving forward. We've got 5 minutes before this news comes out. The pound dollar getting rejected at this angle again. So it's got kind of a confluence of angles here. This is a touchy spot. We'll see how that goes. The Aussie dollar. And what do we got going on here? Again, another type of melt up, halted at this angle. Again, I was talking about yesterday I was talking about whatever the trend was going into a big news cycle, like why can't I think of the name of that? State of the Union. Then we want to just kind of like hold back, and trends will kind of just move slowly in the way, just like the holidays. And I think, anybody who's been trading Forex for a while knows that you'll always have, like, if everybody knows that the news is going to be bullish for the Aussie dollar, for whatever reason, before that, the thing will tank and then it'll move up, or it'll just move up and then move up even more. I mean, it's just not these are not environments where you want to, where I want to put my money at risk. I like a degree of normalcy and certainty and structure to how the markets move before I want to dump money into it. Okay, New Zealand dollar. This is the most, New Zealand's dollar been the most extended one out of all of our pairs that we kind of look at, and it's a little bit of a ridiculous mover. Over a 15-hour period, we've gone up over, up to like 1.15%. I'm a fan of shorting this guy. I mean, he's been a great short ever since we got stopped up there. Especially if we get halted here. If we don't get any active trading above our 50 Fibonacci line there, then we'll be at a double top. Maybe on a double top on a... yeah, because I hate it when it does that. But we have a big, where do we go all the way up here to 74.40. Can't see it because, there we go. We may get to experience a little bit of a double top here with the sell-off here soon. So let's keep an eye on that. All right. Bring that down to the daily again, see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't know why it auto adjusts like that. That's just a little irritating. So keep a look on that one. The euro pound was probably, or actually the pound dollar was the only trade I really had in yesterday where we wanted to break and hold below 140.46. 1.4046. So we did not get that, but we we were looking for a breakdown there. Well, I put up this head and shoulders pattern yesterday to see if that may work out, and man, it's kind of crazy. It like went right up to where I drew it. Cool. So, yeah, that's looking a little heads and shouldersy there. Again, this is the euro pound pair, so no. Let's look at cryptos real quick here. I have to move my monitors around, they get shifted. All right. So, looking at, okay, actually we've got 1 minute left on our employment data. Let's watch how this goes. Euro is sitting at 124.58. They were talking on Fox Business and Bloomberg about central banks probably wanting to roll back a little bit of their current policies. So that's signifying some weakness in like the euro and others. All right, so that news, waiting for it to come out. ADP's at 7:15. At 7:30, we're getting wages, benefits, costs, and then at oil and Fed funds rate at 1 o'clock. It's another, probably one of the biggest of the big of the big of the big. Rate hikes mean good things for the currency. Means it gets more expensive. Rate cuts depreciate a currency. So we're looking at it. We don't know if the Fed's going to raise rates today. But we are expecting more interest rate increases, and the new Fed chair is going to be a little bit more aggressive with those. The sentiment is that he's going to be very active with pushing that policy of increasing interest rates. All right, why are we not getting alert here? Actually, I'm really confused here. Oops. Down. There we are. I must have accidentally exited out of it. So the previous was 250. The consensus was going to be 185, but the actual is 234, so that is considered better than expected. That always weirds me out. I mean, you set the bar low, okay, and then you beat it, and then it's better than expected, even though it's actually technically worse than before. Oh, voodoo analysis. All right. And we're not really getting a lot of reaction to that at all. So yeah, really everybody's waiting for we're waiting for the Fed rate here. We want to see. Oh yeah, let's zip on. Let's let things adjust if they're going to adjust in Forex. Take a peek at cryptos, because there's been a lot happening with cryptos as I'm doing this over and over. Okay, so Bitcoin we've been going down in Bitcoin for the last 7 weeks. We've been moving down. I've been talking about those time cycles, and this is important for all. This is important for all currencies and instruments. And so I had a Bitcoin reversal based on time, based on a confluence of these time cycles. So again, let's refresh what's going on here since we have extra time. We've got the first cycle was really not a time cycle, but that was the expiration of the futures contracts on the 26th. That was last Friday. Okay, then January 29th was the beginning of a new cycle. So that's 2 days ago. We started and ended a new cycle in every single traded instrument. Then we go to the 31st. So today is the 31st. All right. Today is 45 days from the all-time high of Bitcoin. And what that means is that there's a big signal for reversals on those kind of moves, on 45-day moves. Today is also probably heard it in the news because it's actually a big deal, is a new moon phase. So we're in a new phase of the moon, which is a full moon, which means, again, that if we are at or near market bottoms, whether long-term or short-term swings that are low, then we have a good probability of price moving up for the next 2 weeks. All right? Or at least decreased downside movement. Now, additionally, this moon phase is kind of a bigger deal because it's been 150 years since we've had this whole combination of events where it's not only a full moon, but it's a total lunar eclipse, and it's a super blue blood moon. It's a lot of words. But anyways, 150 years ago is when that last happened, and 150 years ago is 1866, and that's when the Panic of 1866 happened, and we had a large amount. That was an international financial crisis. It was really strong in Britain. Only about 15% of joint stock companies survived that entire financial hit. It was a really kind of a rough period. So that's what was happening there. So anyways, we've got that new moon phase here, the super blue blood moon, which is 45 days from the all-time high, which is also, I didn't write it in here, but the move from the breakout of Bitcoin back in September to where we got into December was like 93 days, so like a 90-day cycle. Half of that is 45, and yeah, we are definitely within the range for this to show signs of reversing and strength and movement back to the upside. Additionally, on February 4th and 5th, it's 49 days from the all-time high. That's a 49-day cycle. That was another big deal in Gann stuff. Actually, I guess we're only 6 weeks down. 7 weeks will be next week. So things in series of sevens Gann called death zones. They were it's like the number of completion in the Bible. It's the things that end in seven begin and end blow-offs and big moves. So if we have consolidative movement again, or even if we move lower into the $7,000, $6,000 value area in Bitcoin, by the 4th and 5th, that's an important specific calendar date that Gann talked about, where important highs and lows were made are made on that date. So if we're looking, let's look at what's happening right now. How does this compare to the recent action? Okay, so we have. Let's see what's going on with our dollar yen's making a move. Okay, cool. We'll come back to that. Kind of want to stay away from the Forex stuff for a moment. Let everything settle in. Okay, so let's look at what happened. So yesterday, really, we've just had a big old dump of everything. We went and hit 10K, tested it, fell back down because we were trading in a range of $300 in Bitcoin. over the last 2.5 days, for over, from over the weekend into Monday and Tuesday. We were really trading in a really tight range, and so we came down and tested this. All right, if we can stay above this, that's a triple bottom. Right, that would be a triple bottom because we've had a test of 10K here, test of 10K there, and a test of 10K here. So this would be a triple bottom, and it's good to see this type of participation and pushing it up. But Bitcoin's really kind of the laggard here. It's not leading the pack. You know which one is Ethereum. Ethereum is the one leading the move here. So this is a good sign for all of cryptos, because we want to see one of the majors, which is Litecoin, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or Bitcoin Cash. I don't like Bitcoin Cash, though. I don't really consider that one of the majors. But the coins that I consider the majors are the ones that you can get on Coinbase and convert back into cash, into fiat money. So that is where that's coming from. Now, what's great about this move right now is that we broke below this trend line, but we found support in this arc. It has been acting as a supportive arc, and we've rejected any lower movement when we got into this, and now we're back into our trend line that we were in. Okay, is that a false breakout? We'll see. We are in some overbought conditions on the hourly, but if I look at the 8-hour CMI, we are still well below. Okay, we are way below that area. So just keep an eye on this. This is a fine trading range. If we can get above 1125, hold above it, trade above it, that's going to be fantastic, because Bitcoin has the least amount of resistance to reach its all-time high of like the 1420s and go higher. Actually, I think it's 1440 is the high. What is it? Somebody has a sense of humor in making markets. Get rid of the one, it's 420. All right, that's the all-time high. So 1,420. Litecoin's all-time high is exactly 420. That's where price stopped, right at 420. There's a little bit of humor going on here. So again, if you look at Ethereum, that's a nice move. We're doing a lot of retracing of yesterday's move. We're back into the trend line here. So let's see what happens there. Litecoin is definitely the laggard out of the bunch, but I really enjoy Litecoin. I think it has a lot more activity going for it here in the near future. In fact, I'm long more Litecoin than I am anything else. But again, it's got some lowered movement here. We actually have, I thought we had some bullish divergence there, but we don't on the 8-hour. On the trying to look here. If I have that on the other chart, no, I don't think I do. Well, so if we look at the chart here, so I have three different time periods. So this is a composite index on the hourly, composite index on a 4-hour, composite index on an 8-hour. So if I'm looking at this on the hourly, are we in overbought conditions? Sure. If I'm looking at it on the 8-hour, absolutely not. We're in buying conditions, big time. Looking at our oscillator on the hourly, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at higher lows in our oscillator, but lower highs in our price. So that is a bearish signal on the hourly. That's called hidden bearish divergence. Is when you've got the higher highs in your oscillator, but you have lower highs. Oh God. I'm talking about lows here. Higher lows in your oscillator and lower lows in your in price mean that that is bullish divergence. So this is bullish divergence. Ugh, I don't know what it is about that, the regular and hidden divergence. I really get them messed up sometimes. So that is an example of regular bullish divergence. We have higher lows in our oscillator and lower lows in price. Is that, if we've seen that anywhere else, look at Ethereum. No, not really. No. Bitcoin, no. We should obviously see a little bit of a pullback on these cryptos because we are in those elevated areas on the hourly. All right, let's switch back over to our currencies. So what's happening here with the yen, dollar yen? Let's switch over to gold. Gold, excuse me. Gold, we've got kind of return back into this value area. May want to ping pong down here. So this is a bit of a kind of a nice trade to look out for. Let's look at this. So again, this moon phase. Actually, let's look at the dollar yen. So we have a full moon, which means that if we're at or near a market bottom, then we should be having a long bias for the next 2 weeks. Are we at or near a market bottom? Yeah. Yeah, we are. All right, so we got more. That's Canadian news. Okay. But we do have stuff coming up here at 7:30. Oh, I think we only had oil stuff. Yeah, that was right. No. Oh, we don't have any of that. Wages. We'll see what that's all about. Okay. CPIs in an hour and 14 minutes. Home sales. Fed monetary statements in 6.5 hours. Employment cost index. All right. Looked like a whole bunch of reaction. All right, so in the dollar yen, we are really low. We are employment cost index is as expected. Okay. We are definitely at a swing low in our chart here. So again, if we're in a new moon phase, which is a full moon, not a new moon. I gotta figure out a better way to say that because there's two phases of a moon. There's the new moon, and then the new moon, full moon. And so we're at a full moon with that big old stuff. So how the lunar eclipse works with all this jazz and studying Gann stuff is that really any long-term trending market should face a reversal coming into this time. All right. Also, I want to take a look at that sell-off we had in equities. Seems to be rallying quite a bit. Futures on the Dow are up 0.85%. The NQ is up a 0.5%. ES is up nearly 0.5%. We'll see if those hold. We'll see. Dollar index still showing weakness there. We still have some support down at 88.28. Now looking at the gold trade again. So gold is wanting to break out there a little bit, but that's not a very good. It's not a very good candlestick. I'm saying if we break this low here at 1341.26. We're going to have a pretty tight stop on that one. say here? 1341. Okay, the euro continuing to want to make big moves. This this line right here should be acting as resistance. I'm fine looking at shorting this here. But when we come back below, probably to 124.59. Can get back down there. If not, we're looking at a pullback to this line for support. But we'll see. The dollar yen, we'll hold off on that one. Pound dollar, holding off on that one. Aussie dollar. See, a lot of these, even on their dailies, are really up there still. I mean, they're super duper extended. But, you know, we've got a lot of buying tails on them. New Zealand dollar, that is just a ridiculous move. So we are approaching, and it looks like it's wanting to approach and test this area. Although it looks like we're finally getting a little rounded up on top here. So yeah, I put that, hopefully by the time some people are watching this video, this is moved up and been rejected and come down a bit, but we'll see. Euro, pound, nothing. All right. Oh, that guy's moved quite a bit. Pound yen, nada. Pound New Zealand dollar. Oh, that one looks like we might have a break. We'll put an alert on that later today. Okay, coming back, looking at gold, still hanging there. The euro still hanging above that harmonic line. The yen, selling tail, but it's being contested. What's this look like on a shorter time frame, 5-minute chart? Yeah, there's a lot of activity there. We'll see if this wants to break down and bust down, and you know, we'll see. Again, if the news was bearish for the dollar and it's moving up, don't fight it. You know, it's remember, the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. But the fact that the dollar yen is not selling off and that it's continuing to maintain up here, like it's wanting to test this area, you can bet that if we do break out, that it's going to be a pretty swift breakout. So we're going to do the same trade that we had going yesterday. We really want to only go long when we have a long and hold. Long and hold above 109. So that's going to be trader discretion to see where that, if we can get above here and hold above here, then it's a long. Otherwise, we're still below this. It's still a shorting area, but we've got a lot of news coming out today. Euro is looking a little top heavy up there. Why am I looking at the 15-minute chart? I really 5-minute charts, anything less than an hour, makes me a little queasy to the stomach. But sometimes it's nice to zoom in to see what's going on. You can get kind of a zoomed in view. pound dollar, a little bit of weakness there. Aussie dollar showing a little weakness. New Zealand dollar just sometimes really doesn't care. It's just going to keep going up if it wants to. It's a little odd pair. This one, if we really want to see some oddness, this is well, actually, let's look at the weeklies. So this is New Zealand dollar on a weekly. 1, 2, we've gone up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, coming up on 8 weeks. But we haven't made a new high this week. That's looking like a little bearish bit of a candlestick. Compare that to the Aussie dollar, very similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Pound, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Dollar yen, doof, this guy. So we had that high in December of 2016, and all we've done is trend down, except if we look, oh man, I didn't even notice this. Ow. I tinged my back a little bit at the gym yesterday, helping somebody who got stuck in a squat. Really, one of the things that irritates me about gyms, well, there's a lot of things. That's why I go in the middle of the afternoon when nobody's there. But some folks, they get into a squat rack and they want to squat outside of it, outside of the safety pins. I don't understand the reason for that. Of course, you're gonna get stuck or hurt somebody else. They're there to save your butt, not it's not a sign of weakness. It's just irritating. Anyways, we're looking at the weekly chart of the dollar yen, and if we can't break the low of last week and we close above that, so that's looking fairly bullish. If we can get some like increased momentum, because we are really oversold. Look at this composite index. This is really oversold here. So looking at the structure, and especially we've gone a year of just moving down, we should be looking for a move higher, and it hasn't breached the low of September. All right, the euro chart on a weekly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at 6 weeks. I want you to look at this one on a monthly, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. We had a 2-month period of a drawdown. 1, 2, 3, massive move in there on January, where we're sitting right in this zone, which so we are right. Man, I do not need all those. Okay. We are, yeah, we're getting rejected right at that harmonic. So this 4/8. So that is, if we want to zoom out. Wait, but I don't have it on here. That's right. But from the very lowest point of the euro, which is down here, and the very high, which is up here, this is the exact middle. Okay, so it's going to be the hardest for. This is going to be the hardest line for the euro to cross, above or below, in between the two historical highs and lows. So this is going to be the hardest price for it to pierce. And so it's not surprising that we're getting a lot of resistance at that area. But I tell you what, if we get above it and blow through it and hold above it, that's a whole other story. Because we are how far away are we from that? That's 125.75. We're like 120 pips away from that. We'll have to see what happens there. Dollar yen looking a little weak there still. Really just want to look at our kind of overextended pairs here. Pound dollar showing a little weakness. Aussie dollar sitting around there still. New Zealand dollar, US dollar still it's still floating around that high area here. Lots of buying pressure to keep it up here, but then we've got a lot of selling right there. This is on the 5-minute chart. So we'll have to watch this more. It looks like we're getting a little decreased, maybe. Still up buying tails on the 5-minute. Euro dollar. Like a little bearish series of lower highs here on our 5-minute chart. Zipping over to cryptos real quick. Okay, we've got little dump retracement on Bitcoin on the hourly chart. Coming down from the 10,300 area back down to 10,084. Ethereum, same thing. We really want to get back above here. Again, expecting a little bit of a pullback here is fine, but on the 8 hours, we are still really overextended. Litecoin, same story. We'll see if there's going to be a big push and a big sell-off on these on Bitcoin today and this morning. That'll be an interesting read. Again, I have a few trade ideas in. Just like yesterday, today is going to be kind of, this is another day I don't like to trade. I didn't even really think about all these things this week, last week, but the Fed funds rate is a thing we don't want to touch. And in fact, sometimes just 2 days during the week when you just kind of analyze setups, because you don't always have to trade. I'm serious. You don't always have to trade. In fact, sometimes it's best not to trade. In fact, I know I've said that before, that one of the best things to learn is to know when not to trade. And today is definitely one of those days, more so than yesterday. So, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes alert on these trades. If you're just joining us, I started our stream about a half hour early. I started at 7 o'clock because we had the ADP numbers coming out at a quarter after 7, and I just kind of wanted to see if anybody was hanging out and just say, hey, hold off on your trades today. Well, I'm holding off on my trades. What was I looking at? I was looking for, no. Calendar Fed funds rate at 1,300. Yep. Okay. Let's take a quick peek back over to our, so what do we got? The euro euro might be getting pretty bullish at those levels. Dollar yen still floating around. New Zealand dollar wanting to push higher. Aussie dollar showing, Aussie dollar is really not responding as much as its little brother dollar here. There's a lot more volume in the New Zealand dollar than the Aussie dollar. That's probably going to break out above here pretty soon. Pound dollar, a little bit of muted move. Euro pound, totally natural. Anyways, so y'all have a good rest of your trading day, and we'll visit with you tomorrow morning. We should have a lot of more. I said this yesterday too. We should have more trading opportunities today, and I totally forgot about the Fed funds rate. That's my bad. I should not have forgotten about that. But definitely Thursday we'll have some better setups, and we'll be able to get a lot of this fundamental stuff behind us and have a better trading environment going into Thursday and Friday. All right, so you guys have a great day. Be careful. Again, it's a wild day. All right, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.